Today, I become one of the youngest podcasters ever to reach 100 episodes of a show by themselves. And I'm so excited. I'm so proud of myself, so proud of what I've built here, and I'm excited to share it with you. This is episode 100 of the Grateful Podcast, a podcast that I started when I was 16, living in France, wanting to talk about deep ideas that I found meaningful, wanting to learn more and share that with the world. First episode I did all the way back in January 2024, or was it December 2023? All the way back then. And here we are, 100 episodes in. Main reason I'm so proud and excited today is because although I may not be where I want to be results wise, downloads wise, views wise, whatever, I've stuck it out. And true success to me is controlling the controllables. The controllable thing is that I'm consistent in putting out something that I love and that means a lot to me and that I'm getting better at. I'm consistent at improving. I'm consistent at output. I'm consistent in trying to reinvent myself and consistent at working on the things that I need to get better at and building on the things that I'm already good at. That consistency is something that I'm just very proud of because it's not something I had as much of beforehand. But enough with all that stuff. I want to do something for all of you that have been here this entire time with me, or those of you that are just starting to listen to the Grateful Podcast and tune into what I'm doing here. Let's break down the 7 most important and memorable lessons of this entire podcast so far, of all the 100 episodes. And afterward, break down the thing that I have learned the most from this entire process. All right, so super psyched to get into this. I'm just so grateful for what this podcast has brought me and so excited for what it'll continue to bring me in the future. I have very, very big dreams for this, and I think that I'm well on my way there. So the first lesson that I have from this podcast is from David Lorimer. I don't know if any of you remember that, but he's that today I'm grateful guy that you see all over Instagram. Today I'm grateful for something random, reminding you that you can be grateful for anything in your life. And this was episode, what was it, 33? Yeah. And one of my first big guests I had on the show, I was super excited. His energy was contagious. And what he shared with me was even more amazing. He said that gratitude can actually reframe your mind for joy. And the story he shared on the show is absolutely incredible. He talked about how when he started consciously noticing the positive things in his life, he started making these daily videos, right? He's like, I'm grateful for whatever. And he did this every single day. And it was a practice for him. It wasn't an attempt to go viral, which he ended up doing. It wasn't an attempt to make money, which he ended up doing, right? All these things were byproducts of him trying to find a way to be grateful and to reframe his mind, to think consciously of the positive, amazing things in his life and be grateful for them. And once he started doing that every day, he had a good habit of being grateful. Well, then all of a sudden, he just started noticing things subconsciously that he was grateful for, which I find even more amazing. He shared the story and he said that he was on a run and he's just like, look at the clouds. They're so beautiful. Look at those flowers. I'm so grateful for them. Look at that bee. Amazing. Oh, a bluebird. And he's like, whoa. I've reframed my mind to subconsciously notice the positive things. Whereas before it was, oh, that car's going too fast. Oh, the pavement's not paved enough. This sucks. My knees hurt, right? He really just reframed how he thinks about life to make his experience better. Because when your thoughts are positive, your life is more positive. So that was the first thing from a guest that really, really stuck out with me and I had to share today. The second lesson I had was from Jonathan Goodman. And man, if you guys listen to that episode, you'd know just how amazing it was. Jonathan Goodman is probably the best businessman I've ever talked to in my life. He wrote a book earlier this year he released called The Obvious Choice, and best business book I've ever read in my entire life. I'm sorry, Alex Ramosi. And he talks about becoming famous to the family and doing the things that really move the needle, all the problems with business in the modern virality era, and how so many people are not actually getting any business from trying to go viral. And he brought things back to a much more simple standpoint. Amazing, amazing conversation, amazing book. My favorite thing he shared, though, was a story about the monkey and the pedestal. He said that if you're trying to build a circus where a monkey can recite Shakespeare and make that your entire thing, a lot of people would go ahead and they build the pedestal that the monkey needs to just stand on when he recites Shakespeare first. The thing is, that's not the difficult task. The difficult task is getting the monkey to recite Shakespeare. And obviously, I don't think it's possible to get a monkey to recite Shakespeare. If you do, if you've ever seen or heard of this happening, please let me know. I'd be fascinated. But this is a great example, a great metaphor for what so many people are doing, right? They have this idea, this crazy idea that if they could pull it off, it would be amazing. But instead of actually doing the thing and moving the needle toward the thing that will make the biggest difference, they do the work that feels like good. It feels like they're getting stuff done. It feels productive, even though they're not actually moving the needle in any way. And social media is this for a lot of people and a lot of business people, right? And they're trying to build up this brand that other people can see. Other people can see that you're making progress instead of doing the thing that is actually going to move the needle forward. Amazing metaphor in my head all of the time with the stuff that I'm doing. Lesson number 3 was from quite possibly the best conversation that I've ever had. It was with Jason Smith, the host of the Blueprint podcast. He's become an amazing mentor for me. Many of the guests that you guys have loved on the show have actually been recommendations from him that he set me up with. Trey Tucker, great example of that. And man, Jason said so many amazing things, but the thing that's resonated with me and that I've kept with me for a long time is how our beliefs that we have put a ceiling on us. You are capping yourself by what you believe about yourself. Your past experiences shape who you think you are. And that puts a limit on what you think you're able to achieve, what you're able to do, how happy you think you can be or you deserve to be. And Jason argued that we need to let go of those things. We need to do the work, difficult work. It's not easy, but it's worth it to let go of the opinions we have, of others' opinions that they have about us, of just opinions we have of life in general and what is possible, and embrace our potential so that we can go and create the lives that we really genuinely want to live. He believes that everybody has an opportunity to live a life that fulfills them, that feels joyful, that feels good. And he thinks that people, and he argued this tremendously in our episode, he thinks that people are the things in between themselves and the reality that they want to live. And it's so powerful because if you're the thing that's holding you back from where you want to go, that means that you have the power to get yourself where you want to go. So Jason, thank you so much for that insight. I will send this to you, and you've really made an impact on this podcast as a whole. And so I'm so grateful for that. Now, lesson number 4 is from Susan Piver, an amazing, amazing meditation teacher. And she talked about non-attachment, one of the hardest, absolute most difficult concepts to grasp. And she described it in such an amazing way. This was episode 65 of the Grateful Podcast. It was actually shortened because we had a lot of technical difficulties, but once we got through it, it was one of my favorite conversations I've had. And what she talked about is that non-attachment, it's not just removing yourself from life as a whole. No, it's actually the opposite. It's embracing more of it. It's her quote that she said is, I think non-attachment means not attaching yourself to one part of the ride and trying to repel the other parts. You experience the pain and the joy, being present with both of them. You ride the wave of life fully. And so many people, they go through life just trying to avoid the unpleasant and embrace the present. But their complete avoidance of the things that do not bring them joy in the moment, or I guess happiness or pleasure in the moment, their complete rejection of those unpleasant experiences, they tone down the amazing experiences because they're so attached on finding these amazing experiences. But what Susan argued is that no, what we should do is when we're in a painful moment, take a deep breath, embrace it fully. And then when we're in a joyful moment, we'll be able to do the same thing. Non attachment, the Buddhist way of life, is fully embracing every moment of life for what it is. I thought of it myself as kind of a Chinese finger trap, right? Let's say you're really trying to get out of the pain. You're pulling, 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 pulling. You're not going to get out. You're stuck. But if you fully embrace it and you go into it, you move into it, that is when you can finally get out. I love that analogy. And Susan just describes so many amazing Buddhist things in amazing ways. Another thing that she said to me that really has changed my life is she talked about meditating with her eyes open. For me, I always thought meditation was something you did with your eyes closed, but no, she said embrace the world. Why would we do this disconnect between us and the world when we can open our eyes and meditate with the world? And that has really changed my meditation, and my meditation changes my life. So Susan, thank you for changing my life. Now the fifth lesson is from a recent episode. Fifth and sixth are both from very recent episodes. And this fifth lesson is from none other than Trey Tucker from Rugged Counseling, who was recommended by Jason Smith. And Trey's amazing. This was an incredible episode. I'm scrolling to figure out what number. Episode 91. Go check it out. It was titled The Hidden Crisis Behind Anxiety and Disconnection with Trey Tucker. Amazing. He is something else. No wonder he has millions of followers. But what he said to me that has really stuck with me, and I can't tell you how many people in my life I've told this to, is that oftentimes we see things like anxiety and depression as it's an engine light for us. And what we want to do is just smash the dashboard and get the check engine light away as fast as we possibly can. We medicate to get the check engine light away. We drink to get the check engine light away. We do anything we can to just stop this light from flashing, reminding us that there's a problem. But a lot of us ignore going under the hood and actually making a change. But that's what it takes, right? We can't just say, oh, go away, light, because there's still a problem under the hood. If you need an oil change and you just get the mechanic to turn off the light on the dashboard, your oil was not changed. Your car still needs an oil change. And it's the same with you. If you feel not great in the moment, you can't just numb the pain. You can't just try to get it to go away instantly, right? You need to do work, meditation, conversations with friends or a therapist or something. Workout routine, I don't know, a better diet, more sleep. You need to change something that's going to go under the hood and actually change how you feel. Really change your life. And that analogy from Trey was absolutely incredible. This guy's awesome. Now, the sixth lesson I have, and this is the last lesson from any guest, is from episode 99. They released on Wednesday with David Meltzer. Now, David is the mentor to almost all of my mentors' mentors. Like, David is incredible. He's at the top of the game in this industry. And it's because he's lived through almost everything. At 31 years old, David Meltzer had $100 million, a dream career, dream wife, was friends with all the most famous people in the world, and he was empty. He hated himself. He hated life. And so he lost that $100 million in order to gain it back in a way that felt good to him. And what I learned from Dave was that What we think will solve our problems don't actually solve our problems. Fame and fortune are not the answer. It's chasing our potential. It's going after the things that are really fulfilling. It's the constant pursuit, persistent pursuit of greatness that will fulfill us, that will make us live the lives that we want to live. And Dave is an extreme example, but it's the extremity of his circumstances that make this lesson so powerful, because most of us will never make $100 million, let alone lose it and gain it all back. But it can teach you that even these people that have everything that you think you want, they have problems just as large as yours. There's really no way of quantifying problems. Just because people have the things that you think you want doesn't mean they feel the way that you think you want to feel. Dave taught me that. David, thank you so much for that lesson. Now, to the seventh lesson, the lesson that I've taught so much over and over on this show, but the one that I teach the most because it's the one that I've been learning, the duality of gratitude and ambition. I'm so ambitious. I want this show to be number one in the world. I don't care about Joe Rogan, Diary of a CEO, Chris Williamson, Mel Robbins, Jay Shetty. I think I'll be better. And it's this absurd mindset that I have. But oftentimes I can put myself so hard. I'll not get enough sleep. I'm doing a million other things. I struggle with it. That ambition that is the reason for so much of my success I've had already in my life and the success that I'll have in the future. It's also the reason for most of the struggles I have in my life. And what I've realized I need to do is just be more consciously grateful. Because honestly, like I talked about with David Lorimer, I've been so persistent on being consciously grateful that no matter the circumstance, normally the first thing that comes to my head is something positive. And it's true and it's amazing. So the fact that sometimes I'm burnt out and I feel really tired, honestly, I feel that way right now. But in this moment, I'm grateful for what I'm doing. You can have these two things. You can have gratitude and ambition at the same time. And it's a recipe for really just a life that I'd wish upon all of you. Because they balance each other so perfectly. I can feel very empty because I'm laying my foot on the gas as hard as I can, trying to go forward. But at the same time, I'm full because I'm grateful for all of the little things happening around me on this journey. I'm not too laser focused on the destination because I love where the journey is right now. And I would rather get to the point that I want to go, but I know that this is all just a part of it, and I'm grateful for it. And everyone that I've interviewed on my podcast, I would want to be like, has agreed with my hypothesis of the duality of gratitude and ambition. And it's just led me to realize that joy is pretty simple. And I'm just so grateful for life. And I'm so grateful for where I am at the point that I am and everything that I'm going to continue to build. So thank you for being here on this journey with me. I cannot wait to see where I'll be at 200 or 300 episodes. Just know that I'm not stopping. I'm not stopping. Thank you so much. Stay grateful.